In a democracy, every voice deserves to be heard. Here we inform you about international political news and its major issues. Stay informed with the latest developments in the Russia-Ukraine war. In this video, we cover the recent Russian attack on Ukraine, key updates from the ground, and international reactions. What do you think? Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments.
The main government building in Kyiv has been hit for the first time in what officials there say is Russia's biggest aerial attack of the war so far. At least 3 people were killed in overnight strikes across the capital, including an infant. Dozens of residential buildings were hit. Russia says it only targeted military infrastructure in the strikes. The attacks come as Russian President Vladimir Putin warns the West against sending peacekeeping troops to Ukraine after a ceasefire is agreed on. The CBC's Anna Cunningham joins us now from London with more on this story. Anna, what more do we know about what happened?
Well, Ukrainian officials this morning saying that 800 Russian drones and 13 missiles were fired overnight. And for the first time in this war, the seat of Ukraine's government was set alight. Now, the roof of Ukraine's cabinet of ministers was seen in flames and smoke pouring out of that government building over the capital, Kyiv. It is really rare, actually, for Russian strikes to hit directly in the city centre. But you can see those images of the smoke by daylight. It was very clear it was coming from the government building. Now, Kyiv's mayor suggested the building was hit by a drone. Take a look at this photo. It has been shared on social media by Ukraine's Prime Minister, Yulia Shrivendenko. I don't know whether we can bring you that now, but the image that we see in this photo really shows the amount of damage inside that building. Upper floors there extensively ruined, and the roof completely caved in that corner of the building. We know Odessa, Kremenchuk and Kryvyi Rih were also targeted. That's President Volodymyr Zelensky's hometown. The attacks were so widespread, in fact, that neighbouring Poland was again forced to deploy its own military jets as a precaution to defend its own eastern borders. Now, we have heard from Russia today saying it targeted military industrial complexes, transport infrastructure facilities, but we know that repeatedly both sides have denied targeting civilians. We've heard from Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky. He's shared condolences with families of those who died and were injured. And he says this on social media: such killings now, when real diplomacy could have already begun long ago, are a deliberate crime and prolongation of the war. He goes on to say it's repeatedly been said in Washington that sanctions will follow a refusal to talk. We must implement everything that was agreed in Paris. Let's take you to Paris now. The French President Emmanuel Macron sharing this. Together with Ukraine and our partners, we stand for peace. Russia, meanwhile, is locking itself ever deeper into the logic of war and terror. We've also heard from the EU's Commission Chief Ursula von der Leyen. She says, once again, the Kremlin's mocking diplomacy, trampling international law and killing indiscriminately. She reiterates that Europe stands fully behind Ukraine. At the moment, Mariam, there is very little sign of peace on the ground in Ukraine.
Are you ready to move to the second phase? Are you ready to move to the second phase of sanctions against Russia or punishing Putin?
Thank you for watching this video. If you too would like to stay informed about major political issues, please subscribe to Citoyen.